Thanks for entering the crypt with us. We're Bone Patrol. I'm Aaron.
Chris?
I'm Tyler.
And this is Jake.
Ooh, we got Jake on here again, the Moonlit Ghost, for episode number 2 with him. If you haven't checked it out, go listen to Myrtle's Plantation. I think it was our 6th episode, I believe. Yeah, it was episode number 6. Go listen to that with him. But yeah, Jake, once again, for people who haven't listened to that and don't know who you are, tell them a little bit about what you do, where they can find you, what they can expect.
Yeah, so my name is Jake, and I have a YouTube channel called the Moonlit Ghost. I just want to take this moment to address something. A lot of people think I'm a skeptic because I spend an awful lot of time trying to debunk claims of the paranormal, but I actually believe in a lot of odd things. Like I desperately want Bigfoot to be real, and I will die on that hill. But I try to keep a skeptic, a healthy skeptical view on things, because I know that there are really strange paranormal things in the world, but I also know that a lot of people lie about a lot of things. So
yeah, I think that's honestly the best way to probably look at it. And we will link his YouTube channel, just the Moonlit Ghost. We'll link it in the description of it so you can check out his videos. What's your most recent video? Was it the it Randonauting?
It was Randonautica. Yeah. Just the app. I break it down and give you my thoughts on it.
So yeah, if you go watch his video, listen to our podcast, which came out, I want to note, 2 days before his video. So Jake definitely copied us.
We did. Yeah. We've both spent months working on it independently, not knowing.
Right. Yeah.
I just happened to take 2 days longer to post it.
He has to edit the video, so we can give that to him. But today, Jake helped us find this topic. It is a YouTuber who goes by the name of Kenny Veach, or Kenneth Lee Veach. His YouTube channel is called Snake Bit McGee. We'll also link that.
Snake Bit McGee?
Yeah, I honestly have the slightest clue where that name comes from.
It's kind of like the third person in like the Pinhead Larry and Dirty Dan, and you're Snake Bit McGee.
Snake Bit McGee.
Well, just talking about that, I think he had a particular fascination with snakes, wildlife in general, but with snakes. I know that his girlfriend at the time, I don't know if you guys looked into like her videos. Yeah, okay. But she had like a couple videos, and I think they were talking a lot about like that she was like almost stepped on a snake, and like he was like taking care of it or something like that. I don't know.
Wait, did you say she was almost stepped on by a snake?
I don't think that's what I said, but no, she almost that'd be really weird. But no, she almost stepped on a snake. I think it's been a while since I've seen the video, but like he was yeah.
Snakes with human traits. They sneeze, they cough, they step on humans.
So yeah, you can find him at once again at the Snake Bit McGee channel. He loves the outdoors. He loves exploring, hiking, camping. He's an interior designer. I don't know what title he gave himself, like a pseudo inventor.
Yeah, basically.
He tried to do a bunch of videos towards Shark Tank, and like my favorite part is he had all these like inventions, but he wouldn't show them exactly what they did. And you just say over and over, if you want to see what this does, you got to bring me on the show. I was like, I don't know if that's going to work. But he seemed like a super nice guy. He loved the outdoors. He loved, like Jake was saying, he loved animal life. But that's not enough for us to cover it on this. The problem is, back in November of 2014, Kenny Veach went missing.
Did he get stepped on by a snake?
A big old snake stepped on him.
Scooped him up, took him home, put him in a cage?
Yeah.
No. So, well, obviously, like the story here is it's the M cave, but I want to, I kind of brought this Kenny Veach up to the Bone Patrol people here, but I follow a channel called Explore With Us, the Ewu Crew. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they did an episode on Kenny Veach, and I found out about this person a year or maybe a year ago, and like this was one of the rare cases where I started researching something, and I got really personal about it because, like you said, like this guy he's kind of a little odd. Like he's this kind of cowboy figure, modern day like cowboy trying to fit in like the modern world, but like he's kind of a little weird. He has like he tried to like sell his house with him in it, like he wasn't gonna leave his house. And a point, honestly, like my heart just went out to this guy because like I started researching him, and like you watch the videos, and it's like I literally found myself like almost like tearing up like researching this guy, because then you find out that he goes missing. Like his followers were trying to like get him to go back out to this mysterious cave, and then he disappears. And then you dive into like why all of this happened and where went, and it's kind of heartbreaking, and it's why I wanted to find. I honestly I really want to find out what happened here. So.
Right. Well, I think all of us here, and if you look at all of the comments on his videos with all of his followers, everyone truly does hope that someday he'll come home, that he's still out there and that he's safe. But, well, we'll get into what happened and we'll see what you guys think. Amongst the, I would say, YouTube hiking and outdoor community, he's known as being really intense when he goes on hikes. He pushes himself to the limits. He'll bring like a water bottle and a Snickers bar, and he'll be gone for like 3 days. 3 days, and he lives on. I don't know how he does. I mean, in some of his videos, he'll like find food on the way. He'll like find like nuts and things and eat those. But man,
yeah, it's intense.
3 days of intense hiking out in
Mojave.
Yeah, the Mojave Desert, one of the hottest places on Earth, and he brings one water bottle. And this is like a small water bottle.
Let's just see how miserable I make myself. I got nails in the shoes.
And to make it even worse, it's Dasani. I don't.
He doesn't even go for the Fiji water.
Yeah,
Huh?
but yeah, he's known as being really intense. And that's one reason people loved him. But he also, once again, he loved the outdoors, and he truly showed that in all of his videos. So we're going to cut back to 2014. We're going to go up in our time machine with Rudolph Fentz.
Is that the time machine?
That's Rudolph Fentz, yeah. And we find a comment that Kenny Veach posted on a video titled "Son of an Area 51 Technician." And the comment reads, "This ain't nothing. I'm a long-distance hiker. One time during one of my hikes out by Nellis Air Force Base, I found a hidden cave. The entrance to the cave was shaped like a perfect capital M. I always enter every cave I find. But I began to enter this particular cave, my whole body began to vibrate. The closer I got to the cave entrance, the worse the vibrating became. Suddenly, I became very scared and hightailed it out of there. That was one of the strangest things that has ever happened to me." And if you watch his videos, and if you know anything about the Mojave Desert, it's got thousands of caves. And just in his hikes, you'll just see caves all over the canyon walls that he's walking past. And he says, he made an effort to go in every single one he ever came across. But this particular cave, for some reason, it stood out with the way it was shaped, like a capital M. And he said when he got next to it, something in him said, "Don't go in there." And he didn't. He turned around and he left. And he talks about it. He didn't know if it was, he's like, maybe there was a mountain lion in there. And it's just my sixth sense telling me, like, do not go in this cave. But the weird part is he said it made him feel sick and he was vibrating. Like, that was the terminology he used.
I know, and during my research of this, it sounded like that this was one of those instances where he came across something genuinely strange, like something that he's never experienced before. But the way he described it, like, it seemed like afterwards that it's like one of those instances where he's trying to like rationalize what happened. Like maybe he thought like that it was just a mountain lion and there was something in him that knew it was dangerous. But like it seemed like from his original description, it's always interesting listening to people try to figure out. And I've gone through the same thing with the whole Myrtle's Plantation ghost that I saw. It's like I had that experience, and I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out like how that like rationalize it into something that makes sense. But yeah, it seemed to me like just what you were saying is that something really strange and bizarre did happen, and then afterwards he was trying to like just like figure out, like make it make sense in his mind, like what was happening.
I find it very interesting that he used the term vibrating, because typically, if I was nervous, I would say I was shaking or something of that sense. The only time I've ever said, like, I've described myself as like, wow, I like felt like my insides were vibrating, was I was on a hike in a dead tree. A big old tree fell over in the distance and it shook the entire ground, and it felt like your brain was rattling around inside of your head. So I don't know what in the world, I don't know if this was just a poor word choice or if what he was experiencing, I think that was the way to describe it properly.
Well, I mean, when you down 3 code reds, 3 glow sticks, your brain will be vibrating.
That's the way Kenny Veach typed. He ripped a glow stick. Yeah, I mean, for reals though, I'm not entirely sure, but obviously it was enough to scare him to death, where he said he hightailed it out of there, which is very interesting. Now, of course, if you stumble upon these videos, yeah, sure, caves are interesting, but the one that's really going to interest you is the one cave that he would not go in. So all of his commenters and all of his viewers and subscribers, they just on all of his videos, like, Kenny, go back. Kenny, go back. We want to see this cave. Go in it. Go in it. Go in it. Would you do it, Christopher?
I would rip 3 glow sticks, 3 Code Red Mountain Dews, and I'm hitting that cave, and I'm coming out with a warthog from Halo 3.
In the cave?
Yeah, there's tech in there. There's alien tech in there that I'm.
You're going off of the son of an Area 51 technician. Like, you think this is government.
What else
hiding.
is gonna vibrate my core? Aliens.
Tyler, what about you? Are you going in the cave?
Oh, heck yes.
Okay, well, I'm not going in the cave. Jake, would you go back? Would you legitimately, if you found one of these on your videos on your channel, and it scared you to the point where you just left, and your viewers like, Jake, go back, would you do it?
It depends on like what era of my life I'm in.
Right now.
if I, right now, I would go back with like a crew of people and like machines, like cameras and like
Power armor.
yeah.
Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
But there was like a time in my life where I feel like I was kind of just whatever. Like I just do all sorts of weird stuff, and if I was a YouTuber back, I don't know, 15 years ago, and I was being pressured into this, it's something that I was just already curious about, and like I want to figure this out, and people want me to go back, I would probably do it. But now I wouldn't.
No, and you made a good point that you said you'd go back with the crew. That's one thing I've read to say is Kenny was always by himself. He did everything by himself. Man would camp for 3 days on the top of a random mountain. There's no trails where he's hiking. He's just walking through this desert by himself. And that's not something I would recommend as somebody who loves hiking in the mountains. And I would never recommend hiking by yourself. That's typically rule number 1. But
well, and it says something about the state of mind that he was in, and I know, it's really good advice to not ever go hiking by yourself, especially long distance hiking. But it does say something about where he was at, and I know that if you research and read some of the comments, especially what his girlfriend was saying, that he had a pretty traumatic upbringing. Like I think. If I remember right, I think she said that like his dad committed suicide, and I think I saw somewhere that he was actually witness to it. Like he saw it, and so this was something that has like haunted him like his whole life, and that he's been trying to process and deal with. And a lot of times, like you don't get over stuff like that. And in terms of like your mental well-being and states of mind, stuff like that forever like colors your perception of like your risk-taking like endeavor, like things that you're willing to do. And because at a certain point, like I know it is good advice, like I don't recommend like hiking out into these places alone by yourself, because one, it's not safe, but like from his point of view, like it's like a risk he's willing to take, because he at some point it seems like he's not really concerned about his own well-being, or like maybe it can't happen to him, but if it does, then it'll be on his terms and things like that. And so it's really, like I said at the beginning, it's really sad, and it's like my heart goes out to this person, because you see like he doesn't have many videos, but the videos that you do watch, it's like, oh my gosh, I just want to give this man a hug and like tell him it's gonna be all right. I love this person. I don't know.
No, I agree. We'll get more into his mental state, because that comes into it. His girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, the jury's out on that one, speaks a little bit on that after his disappearance. So we go back. So all of his posts get a lot of backlash, and he eventually gets pressured to go back to this cave.
Come on, Kenny, get in the death cave. Do it.
I know, right? It's so easy for them to sit back, the keyboard warriors, and be like, Kenny, you need to do this for us. Like, why don't you find the cave? So interesting though, he gets a lot of comments, obviously, of concerned people like, Kenny, like, maybe you shouldn't. Like, you had a feeling it was dangerous. Maybe you shouldn't go out there. And Kenny responds to one of these people, and he says, thanks. I've been doing this sort of thing for 20 years. I go where no one goes, and I never take anyone with me. I find skulls of all shapes and sizes, and occasionally I find really old animal traps. I hike over mountaintop after mountaintop and sleep on the peaks under the stars. Sometimes I have to scale giant cliffs to get myself out of a jam, but I always make it back. I'm beat up and tired, and my pack is almost always heavier than when I left. I had to be rescued only one time by a helicopter. I'd blown out my left leg at the top of the mountain and only had a cup of water left to get me 20 miles back to my truck. it was also over 100 degrees out, so I have a very good safety record. Okay, a couple things with this comment. One, I don't know anybody who's on their safety record has I had to be like rescued by a helicopter at the top of a mountain. So that alone is an F on the report card. Also, though, he says he only had 1 cup of water. If I know Kenny Veach, that was the 1 cup of water he also brought with him. There wasn't more water. That's all he brought to begin with. But it's true, though, for the amount of risks he would take, he does have a pretty good safety record. Like, it's actually really surprising that more did not happen to him.
I do just want to point out that it's like we in our like day and age, like hiking and stuff like this, and our point in time, our perspective on this, like, yeah, it's not good to go out like and really do the things that he was doing, but literally people did, like, this is what people did, like even just like 100 years ago or like hundreds of years ago, or back when people were like exploring, like these were mountain men. Like, this is literally, they just would go out into the wilderness and they just live out there and explore the world by themselves. And there's just like it seems like there's a very like specific set of people that kind of gravitate towards that lifestyle. And so I don't know that we can like judge too critically of people who choose to do stuff like this, even though we know that it's not that safe. But we also like live in big communities and go to Walmart when we want food. And like, I just mean, like, people have been living this way since there have been people. So
no, 100%. I was listening to a podcast about the Donner Party, for example, and they made a point, like, listen, like, these people were so fiercely independent. Like, that is not something that we can even wrap our heads around right now. They walked across the entire U.S. just so they could be alone. And then what would happen is, legitimately, if they like found out there was somebody living within like 5 miles of them, they'd say, well, they'd get mad and they're crap, and they would hike another 5 miles to build their house. Like, that's an independence that we can't even fathom in most of us. But we get specimens like Kenny Veach, who I think in another life he would be that mountain man to hike across the U.S. and he would love every minute of it. But also, thankfully, we have those types of people because they do bring out about a lot of good, and we get to see a lot of things that normally we wouldn't get to see in life because I'm too scared to go do it myself.
Well, yeah, but Kenny takes it to a new level by being like, when I hike the 30 miles to the mountaintop, I'm going to cut my feet off and come back.
Yeah, the only thing with Kenny is he pushed himself in ways that you didn't necessarily need to push yourself.
Did he say that?
No.
I was like, maybe I've got a whole different perspective of this guy. I didn't hear that comment.
No, but he would just be like, I'm only going to bring a little bit of water just to see if I die.
It's like those are the parts, like, that wasn't necessary. Like, I understand, like, going alone, but like not bringing any food or water. Every mountain man would tell you, like, no, you should bring as much food and water as you can carry.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, he wouldn't bring any navigational tools. He wouldn't bring compasses, maps. He's like, that's for beginners, man.
Yeah, he would, like, in his videos, he always stops, like, yeah, you see way out there where you can't see anymore? That's where my truck is somewhere. I was like, okay. Like, he's 20 miles away at points from where he parked with no maps. There's no trails. I don't know. It's pretty impressive.
He knows what direction home is because when he's facing that way, his being vibrates. It just
Well, thankfully, especially because where we grew up here, we have pretty similar areas like the Mojave Desert, is at least with like rock formations, they are unique enough that you could probably navigate your way back. It's not like he's in the middle of a forest or something, but still, that's pretty crazy. I wouldn't hike 20 miles out through nothing and not have any navigation device with me. That's pretty insane to me. Also, I'm not really quite sure what is his reasoning? Does he ever give a reasoning to why he does this? He says push himself, but like, what's the point?
Well, I think it just again like goes into like his state of mind. Like you can almost see that like he might be like he's struggling with depression and stuff like this, and it seems like he could just be like tempting fate. Like maybe like he doesn't want to like this goes into like later on in the story of what actually happened, but he doesn't necessarily want to like kill himself or commit suicide, but like he's maybe just would be fine. Like he's tempting fate in a way that like does that make sense what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So like I just before this we were talking about, I was just listening to Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, I think, and one of the things that Jordan Peterson was talking about is if you a person can go to the doctor and get like a prescription filled, and like the doctor can tell them to do things to take care of themselves. And there's a significant percentage of people who won't take their doctor's advice, but if something happens to their pet, like they'll make sure that they do everything they can to make sure that their pet is. And it plays into like our like a lot of times we don't really care about ourselves, like for one reason or another. Whether it's like we're just depressed because of things that have happened in our life, or just we are in a bad position. It's hard to really care about ourselves.
Yeah, sometimes. No, I agree with that.
Well, also, I feel like it's hard to comprehend the fact that when you die, you're dead. Like, you realize, like, you could die today. You could walk out, get hit by a car, and you're done. And then, like, that makes you think back, like, what did I do today? If I die, like, did I have a good day? Am I happy if I die today?
Well, like, I think, too, like, go on my hikes, you go on a hike, and you're walking on the edge of cliffs. And you're like, oh, this is cool. And it's cool until the one day you're the guy who slips off, and maybe you don't die, and you shatter your spine, Like, these things, thankfully, I think it's a good thing we don't comprehend these things as humans, because then you wouldn't really want to leave your house. I would just want to stay inside all day if I was that terrified of what could happen to me every single time I walked outside.
Well, that's the thing, is Kenny would purposely fall down those things, break his spine, and then crawl
just to
home.
see if he could get back home. Yeah, that's
Only
true.
with a cup of water.
And one Tylenol.
One cup of water that's half bleach.
But he also, he dry swallows the Tylenol. He doesn't use water for that.
Okay, that's too far. That's too far.
Too far.
He's looking for I don't know, you could just dive into the psychology of it, but I mean it's just like he's searching for some sort of like he's worth, like he's special, like he's worth something. And I don't know.
No, I mean there's a point too where you gotta do something to make you feel alive.
Yeah.
And so if that's what it takes, then I guess go walk in the Mojave Desert with just a Snickers bar. So now, if you look at any video or listen to any podcast that's already covered this topic, all of them will allude to a comment that showed up on one of his videos, like, Kenny, do not go back to this cave. If you do, you won't come back. Now, in my honest opinion, it's just somebody just trying to be scary.
Just somebody trolling him.
Yeah, really, that's my honest opinion. And if you honestly
it could also be someone trying like really hard to like be like, I would rather this guy not go into a place he's scared of, so if I can convince him I know what this is, maybe he won't go.
Right, because there's no other reason to believe this person actually knew what the M Cave was, where it was, or anything about it. They don't like allude to that. And if you go try to look for this comment, you can't find it. And if you read the most recent comments on like his most popular video, all of them are like, does anybody know where this comment is? Like, I came here looking for the comment and it's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, and I think I've read like all of the comments on all of his videos,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of comments.
Yeah.
But I think people do have screenshots of it. I think I could be wrong, but I think Iwu Crew has a screenshot of that comment.
Like, confirmed real, because I could pretty easily make a YouTube comment and screenshot as if it was real.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the thing, is like, nobody's real. Everyone says they can't find it. I can't find it. And even if we did, I don't think it means anything. Like, I could easily go type that same comment on the video right now.
Like, is it more realistic that this is just a troll, somebody trolling Kenny Veach, or that it's a government employee that's watching this random hiker's videos?
He's a Kenny Veach subscriber.
Trying to, yeah, I know.
It's his FBI agent that's been spying through his webcam.
I
Kenny,
know.
no, not the MK.
Don't go in there.
But eventually, Kenny does go back to look for the M Cave, and that's where you get his most popular video, because he's only got a handful of videos anyway on his YouTube. And it's a 20-something minute long video of him hiking back out to see if he can find the M Cave. Because remember, once again, he doesn't bring anything with him. So it's not like he knows exactly where this cave was. He just remembers roughly the area he was hiking in. And he's like, I'm going to go find it again, hopefully. And the video starts off with him standing at a mine shaft. And it's pretty cool, but he's like showing how deep it goes. And if you fall down there, like, you're not coming back out. And he's talking about how like this area is riddled with things like mine shafts, and a lot of people used to work up in this area. Obviously not anymore, and there's no trails. And that's where he starts off on his adventure to look for the M cave.
He's like, yeah, this mine shaft, you fall in there, you're not coming back. So let me show you. I'm gonna jump in it real quick. I'm gonna come back out.
You're like, it's funny, but he like goes and stands on the wooden like platform above the mine shaft. Like, he's like, this is really old and pretty sketchy. He, like walks on top of it to like look down, and it's like, if you fall down there, you're not coming back. Like, you're getting pretty close on wood that you didn't even test if it could hold your body weight. But I mean, that's Kenny. That's Kenny. So Kenny set out on a second trip to find the cave on November 10th, 2014. When Kenny failed to return home, a search began. On November 22nd, the search for Kenny Veach made it on the news. During the search for Kenny, they found his cell phone at the mouth of that abandoned cave, or mine, sorry, that abandoned mine that he starts out in his main video. But after that, the trail really went cold because they found his cell phone at the mouth of this cave. They looked and said there's no, like, nobody went in this mine.
Well, just to be clear, I want like the mine is different than the cave.
Right.
So I think they found his cell phone like at the mine, right?
Yeah, sorry. So at the beginning of his most popular video, when he's like trying to show you where the M cave was, there's a mine shaft, and that's where they find his cell phone eventually. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think so. I think in his wallet too, right? Did they find his? I thought they found his
Probably,
cell phone in
yeah.
his wallet, maybe.
Yeah, and they just find it at the mouth of the mine. And that's just where that's where the case gets cold, and so that's where everyone started like dissecting this, conspiracy theories, rewatching his videos, and that's where a lot of ideas of what could have happened to him really stem from. Because after that, there's nothing else. There's nothing else really to go off of except for a comment made by his girlfriend, and that's really it. And one guy who made a pretty good video of going out to look for the cave again, right? Like,
yeah, and there's people like commenting and like making videos about Kenny Veach. It's kind of like a small phenomenon. Like there's a lot of people with a lot of ideas about what happened to him and trying to find him. But specifically, I think you're talking about Liberation and his liberate Sean.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and his video of him retracing Kenny Veach's steps and finding, and it's a really fascinating. It's fascinating to watch Kenny's video along with Sean's video, because it is like out in the middle of nowhere, but he's literally showing the exact same like landmarks and things like that. It's really fascinating.
it really is. And so let's give you a play-by-play. So if you don't want to go watch the full 20-minute video, which I suggest watching, but if you don't have the time to, so we're looking at Kenny's video. Do you have the title of it? What it was called?
I think it's just M Cave.
Is it? Let me go to his channel real quick. Snake Bit McGee. And if I go to his videos, yeah, it's just called M Cave Hike, posted 5 years ago with 1.5 million views. It's just under 22 minutes long. This video starts off at a mine shaft, and then he just hikes. And he obviously it's only 22 minutes long because he only shows you clips from the hike. And it's just him hiking through the desert, showing some rock formations, showing some little caves off to the side. Doesn't go in them, he's just showing you them. He, at one point, finds some, like, I don't know what he calls them. There's some sort of nut.
Oh,
Juniper? Pine nuts?
Pine
Juniper
nuts, and then-
I think they're pine nuts.
Pine nuts, he finds them, and he's starting to collect them, and he's eating them. At one point, he sees a tortoise.
Don't touch the tortoise.
He goes up a canyon where it gets pretty narrow, but at the end of the day, he really just like, he's like, I didn't find it. He's like, I know it was somewhere in this area. He says it was eye level, but he doesn't end up finding it in this video. And that's really, like, the video is pretty simple, and that's really all there is to the video. Am I missing anything that you would think would be importance of that video? No. Okay. And then that's where Liberation, I think it says Liberation. He has a video called The Location of the M Cave or something like that.
Location of the M Cave.
And it is a long video. We're talking over an hour long, where he goes and he tries to retrace every step that Kenny did to see if he could find the M Cave. And partway through the hike, he gets like sick and he's throwing up. And he also did it Kenny Veach style. He went alone, but unlike Kenny Veach, he brought a little more food and he brought a clear quartz crystal and amethyst. For power or something. I
think that's the most important part
He
of
says
his
it was.
get up.
Yeah, he said it was the most important. I think he talked about like his Glock or something, and then he talked about
it wasn't a Glock, it was a Taurus, which is known as being a really cheap gun.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, he has his gun, and then he brings his crystals for energy.
It's to channel so we can go Super Saiyan 3 versus whatever's in that cave.
Yeah, that's like what he goes out to do is to beat the cave, I suppose. But he also does not end up finding the cave. He gets sick and he heads back and calls it a night. But so as it sits right now, nobody has found the M cave.
Well, I think he claims that he did find the cave.
He found something he thought was suspicious, and he believes it could be the M cave, but it's not confirmed because it was covered up by other rocks.
Yeah, and so he shows that was one of the most interesting parts of it to me, is because when you're watching Kenny Veach's video, Kenny Veach is like panning the camera around, and he's like, I thought it was like in this area somewhere.
Yeah, he says, I'm pretty sure it was in this area. The cave was eye level. That's So it's, if you want to just watch that clip, it's at 1544 of
that's good to
Kenny
know. Yeah.
Veach's video. So you've got a 1544. You can see this part, and he's panning around, looking around, and there's some rock formations. He's like, it was around here. I'm pretty sure it was eye level. And you see, you wouldn't think anything of it if you were just watching Kenny Veach's video, but there's like this rock, this big rock, with 3 slabs like leaned up against it, and he just kind of pans over. He's like, I swear it was around here. And then if you go to Liberation's video at the 1 hour, 1 minute, and 7 second mark, he finds that exact same rock formation, and he's talking about how weird these slabs look really out of place, like someone purposely put them up against it, and he's like trying to look in between them to see if there's something behind it. And I mean, we kind of pull the conclusion that maybe this was the location of the M cave, and somebody since has come and tried to cover it up.
Yeah, and it really does, just from those videos, like, to me it looks like something was manipulated. I don't know like if it was a cave, but it looks like something weird was going on there.
Right. And if I'm not wrong, that's also around the time where he starts feeling sick, right, in the video. And he's like, unless he is, an A-list actor, I mean, because he is throwing up on camera and he looks bad. Like, he's not faking being sick. Honestly, maybe just been heat exhaustion, because he was showing the signs of that. But regardless, it was around the same time he finds the cave where he starts really getting ill.
Yeah, and that is true. It's like right after that he like threw up a little bit, and then he was able to hike out. But I think he had a follow-up video where he was still trying to recover. But I think I don't know. I haven't looked this up, but I feel like that could be just what like heat exhaustion looks like.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay.
It's usually followed by like shakes and then throwing up.
Yeah, that makes sense. But like if you like look at that in terms of what Kenny Veach said, like they both get to the cave and they both like I don't know, like Kenny Veach had a different experience, like he started vibrating or whatnot, but
shaking around.
All of these symptoms sound just like my glow stick bender I went on.
Yeah, no, it's super interesting. And then we cut back to Kenny Veach then tells his girlfriend at the time that he's going to find the cave, but he doesn't bring his camera with him, which is obviously not like him. And he heads out, and that's when he doesn't return home. And after, was it 2 days, 3 days? Whatever. I'm sure he had told her a day that he was expecting to be back, and after he doesn't come home, she immediately calls in that he's missing, and that's when they go out to look in that area, because at least they knew where he was going to be, and they find his cell phone and his wallet by the entrance of the mine that you see at the beginning of the main video. But they say no one's gone down in the mine. There's nothing on the cell phone of interest. There's no notes or anything. Like
you said that like there was nobody in the mine. Like they did search the mine.
They looked at it like nobody's gone down this. Like no one jumped down it. No one climbed down. Like nothing's disturbed the mine. So they have no reason to believe that he went in the mine, because he would have seen disturbances unless he floated down there.
Unless he floated down there with vibrational frequencies.
Yeah.
I think the prevailing theory is that he went out there and either like got hurt and died in some place that people haven't searched, or that he committed suicide, to my understanding. But like there's a lot of weird things surrounding this story, and one being like it seems like his phone was like purposely left at that mine, like and who knows why.
I have my practical theory would be his girlfriend At that time, she made a big old comment. It was like I swear it was like 2 years later. It was a long time
It was
after
2016.
after the disappearance. She made
Yeah, she made like a really long comment.
Yeah.
But she made a couple comments. One of them was really long. I didn't. Was it a couple years later? I think
It
she was
was.
surprised.
it was
at-
2 years later.
Yeah, okay. I think she was surprised at like how much, how popular his channel had become since
Yeah.
his disappearance. Yeah.
Yeah, and so she talks about there like his mental health and how he's really depressed, and how she noticed building up to the disappearance that he was becoming more and more unstable, and it wasn't like him to not take his camera with him, and like she was worried, and so she told him like she has kind of ruled it out as a suicide, and she did say that Kenny always told her like if I was to ever kill myself, no one will ever find me. He's like, I know of mines and caves all over this area. Like, nobody will ever find me. And if that was what his plan was, to have no one ever find him, I too would, it seemed plausible to leave your cell phone and your wallet at the entrance of a really, really deep mine shaft as kind of like, hey, look, like a wild goose chase. Look over here while I really go somewhere else. That would be my practical idea. But that wouldn't be enough for us to cover that on here. So the theories get deep, the conspiracies get wild. Tyler, Jake, Christopher, is there anyone you want to start off with particularly?
Well, I think just I don't know how prevalent this idea out there is, and I don't want to make light of this situation, but I mean, one idea is that he faked his death and that he's he's living in Canada and like Saskatchewan, and like his girlfriend like helped him disappear basically. But it's and like how do you know like I can't remember her name. Do you
His girlfriend's name?
I guess
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but I think she made those comments and she posted like follow-up videos on her YouTube channel of like them like having fun, like pictures, photos of them in like in memorial to Kenny Veach and whatnot. And so like you want to just believe that she's being honest and whatnot and genuine. Like I don't want to believe that there's something like sinister, like she helped plot his suicide or like she tried to get rid of him or things like that. But like if he really was like, if he wanted to just disappear and start a new life, you can imagine like somebody that like loved him, like his girlfriend, maybe she helped him do that or something like that. That's one idea. And then they just get weirder from there.
Well, and she probably reached out to Tupac, Elvis, and they all are on an island somewhere together.
Yeah.
JFK,
Hitler.
Hitler.
Osama bin Laden. Yeah, they're all there. Well,
They're on Mars. The Nazis
They're on
made
Mars.
spaceships and went to the moon.
well, so going with that theory though, she talked about that Kenny was a very talented interior designer, and he had started a new business of being an interior designer, but wasn't doing so hot, and the debt was piling up, and he was getting really, really stressed. And so that's part of the idea of like maybe he did try to run away because he had a lot of debts, and so why not run to another country and try to escape that? So that's kind of some things that support that idea.
And I know that like you've mentioned that he's like an interior designer, and like he has a really long video of him like showcasing his house, and it's like a beautiful house.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he physically built it, but I think he designed he designed the house, and like all of like the decorations and stuff. Like he made so much of everything that went in the house. It's really a remarkable house, and I know that he like quit his job. I'm not sure where he's working at, but like you can just imagine, like it's not hard to imagine just like being like kind of middle life, like where he's at, and just being just depressed at like he's working this dead end job. And like I think that was one of the reasons why he tried to like sell his house with him in it.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people, like you read comments like before all this happened, and it's like that's a super weird idea, but it dawned on me. This is something that Iwu Crew said. It's like he was just a little bit behind the times. If he held out like a few more years, he could have Airbnb'd his house.
Yeah.
And like this is not like, it was weird because he's like this middle-aged guy trying to sell his house with him in it. But like, it's really not that weird. Like I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's really true. So that's the first theory, is that he simply just ran away, that he's still out there. And that's a lot of what the commenters thought, was like, we really hope he is out there and he's safe, and this is just, we've all been duped. Then we get to weird things like aliens, government assassinations,
Cartels.
yeah, like some people believe like he stumbled across like a drug trade out there and the cartel assassinated him, but there's no signs of that, so I don't know how much I buy that one.
I think that what happened is what's in the cave is what his FBI agent that monitors him, he's hiding all of his like belongings in there, all of his treasures and stuff. It's gosh dang it, Kenny, you freaking found it. So he set up the cover up by putting the wallet and stuff there.
Yeah.
Because he's been monitoring Kenny.
Well, I mean, so it's known that area is riddled with military air bases. So people are like, well, he got too close to an air base or something they were hiding.
Well, so interesting. Area 51 is only 20 miles away from his hike.
Yeah.
So theoretically, he could have found a cave where the tall white ones were living in, and they needed an interior
Yes.
designer, and so he was like, "I'm your guy."
If I know anything from the Canadian government, they have confirmed there's tall white ones working in the U.S. government. So
Yeah.
Post
Along
Malone-
with the reptilians, right? Like,
Yeah, well,
they're at
Post-
war with the reptilians.
Post Malone agrees with me on that. He talked to Joe Rogan about tall white ones living or working in the U.S. government.
Well, there's also a chance that he was just walking across while they were testing out their Spartan lasers they had just acquired, and you got
Got a
zapped.
Spartan laser, then an energy sword, needler.
And then Rudolph Fentz comes out of nowhere, grabs him, and does a choke slam and slams him to the ground.
Yeah,
And then he disappears again.
yeah.
Well, just like following along with your point, yeah, it is close to Area 51, but it's also closer to Nellis Air Force Base, and it's my understanding that people really want to get out there and like search this area, because I think that there's like some legislation that Nellis Air Force Base is going to take over the entire area, and I don't know how soon that's going to happen, but I know that something's in talks like that.
Right.
Which at that point, nobody will ever be able to get out there. But kind of, I don't know. Conspiracy theories are just wormholes that go everywhere. But like, so one more kind of down to earth possibility is that like we know that there were nuclear tests out in that area and things like that. And when you have like nuclear, I haven't researched like the technical aspect of it in a long time, like the scientific aspect, but like there's a lot of nuclear waste that comes along with dabbling with that type of stuff, and we know that the government has just disposed of nuclear waste in just desert areas, like, and that's kind of a prime spot out there because there are just abandoned mines, like, and caves everywhere. And so to me, it's not beyond, like, it's not unrealistic to think that maybe he did come across like an area where they were disposing of nuclear waste, and like that's what made him feel like he was vibrating. He got too close to like radiation and weird stuff like that.
I think
and
that's what uranium does to you.
You start growing a third arm.
you start going through. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Well, I mean, there's a good chance he ran out of his half a cup of water and he saw a big vat of toxic waste. He just started chugging that bad
I've
boy.
always wondered, like, could he also just be kind of like Liberation, where he was just having like heat exhaustion or heat stroke because he doesn't bring enough with him, and it was just timing. Like, he found this mysterious cave, but he was also already kind of starting to feel sick at the time. That's a possibility. The vibration, though, is the weird way to describe it. That's what always gets me. One thing I heard is maybe so we're close to like Area 51, other Air Force bases, that he discovered what they call a DUM, or like a deep underground military base, and that the M cave was like maybe an entrance into it. And it is known that like military forces will use infrasound as like a defense mechanism. Mm-hmm. Infrasound is simply a sound wave with frequencies that's below the lower limit of human audibility, like what you can actually hear. But if you're around infrasound enough, like, it can make you feel sick, and I maybe vibrate you. I don't know if that's like the term I would pick, but I know it can make you feel like really sick and really bad. And so that's an idea, is like maybe that's why he felt really sick, and also why Liberation felt sick when he got near the cave. Or that even the potential that the cave itself, just the way it was shaped, puts off infrasounds. I don't know. That's an idea. That's something I was like, maybe, not sure.
So when you get close enough to these like top secret government Air Force bases, Area 51, whatever, do they not give you a warning before they blast you with a missile?
No.
They're just like, oh, this guy's too close, better nuke him.
Well, most of them, like, you've always seen they have like fences, like, do not cross this line.
Right.
You could be killed on the spot. But
But at what point do they just shoot you?
at what point do we just have a secret cave out in the middle of the desert that we hope nobody stumbles upon?
Yeah, like where's the? At what point is it kill on sight?
I don't know at what point it's kill on sight, but this gets into the whole thing. Like, if you listen to people, I don't know how much like Bob Lazar went into like underground bases, but he did talk about like alien craft, and this is right in the area out there. But there are other people, less credible people that I listen to like Coast to Coast like all the time, and sometimes they got
Coast to Coast.
yeah.
That's our origins.
I freaking love like I used to drive like at night a lot, and I just listen to Coast to Coast, and it's awesome. But I mean, you get some real weird odd ones on there, but at the same time, you don't know. Like, you really, how do you know who's telling the truth and who's not? But I just mean, like, I've listened to some of these guys. Some of them say that they have like deep like underground like facilities where they hold these alien craft, and this is literally like beyond technology. Like, the technology is crazy. And if you have like underground facilities in an area where that's ridden with just caves everywhere, I don't know, like maybe there are these cave systems that are going in and out and potentially like connecting into these underground military bases. I don't know.
Well, no, so if you chose to put it in an underground cave system, that's where you choose to hide your secret base. I mean, being out to like Mammoth Cave National Park, so it's, they say it's like the largest cave network in the world, and they have currently 400 miles explored, and they know there's more than that.
Well, and the thing about Mammoth Cave, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like if you don't like the entrance to the cave isn't like obvious, right? No. Like, if you don't know where it's at, like, you would never know that there's just like miles of empty space underneath you.
Right. No, you would have zero idea. And that, like, when you're in that area, the majority of that area there's a cave running underneath you. That's one connected cave. And that means there are probably hundreds, if not thousands, of entrances to this cave, small or large. How would you ever, if it was a large cave system, be able to, like, if that's where you're hiding your alien spacecraft, how could you block off every single potential entrance to protect it? Like, you may not even know that there's another entrance, because with how caves are, sometimes the tunnels are so tiny that a human couldn't get through it, but it's still technically connected. I don't know. That's a potential. Maybe they're hiding their needlers in there.
Well, wasn't it like, weren't you saying a couple days ago that the government said they have aircrafts not from Earth?
Yeah, I need to clarify this one. That was actually heard on the Joe Rogan podcast with Post Malone that like a couple days ago. Do you know about this, Jake?
I know about the aircraft that they're talking about, and I have strong opinions about that.
Wait, hold on. Are we talking though about the one we already did an episode on? The videos?
Yeah.
This is something they say came out like 2 days ago.
It's my understanding that they're literally the same videos.
Well, there was no video attached to this one. So this is something like they literally said happened like 2 days ago. The Pentagon released some information. I honestly haven't taken any time to look into it. I just didn't know if you'd heard of it.
I think I did. I didn't listen to that entire podcast with Joe Rogan and Post Malone. I listened to some of it, but it's my understanding. I could be wrong, but it's my understanding that what they were referencing is a reference to the videos that are already out online.
Is that what it was referencing?
So they have obtained the 40-foot Tic Tac for the freshest, mintiest breath?
Yes.
Is that what they're saying? I don't think that's what they're like. What were they saying?
They call it a Tic Tac.
Yeah, that's what the formation, like, it's shaped like a Tic Tac.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Commander David Fravor.
Here we go. I got a news article here. It said, not made on this Earth. Top secret Pentagon UFO task force reportedly expected to reveal some findings. Okay, but it is about those videos.
It is about those videos, and I don't believe that at all. Like, I've done a lot of research on that. I mean, I'm torn because Joe Rogan has, oh my gosh, some documentary who he made the documentary about Bob Lazar, the most recent one on Netflix. and because I really like Joe Rogan, and I think he's a really thinks about things in a very intelligent way. But I think he's dead wrong about his opinion on those UFOs.
Okay. So it says the Pentagon stated that they had a program that was disbanded by a Senate committee report last month.
Yeah, ATIP.
Yeah, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force.
Yeah.
And so they defunded that, but it was reported in late June that that they had requested a detailed report of what they were doing. And the report stated that the committee supports the effort of the task force to collect and standardize data regarding unidentified aerial phenomenon, as well as their links to foreign governments and potential threats. Yeah, well, apparently we're supposed to be getting more on it, but who knows?
I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but I just have something to say. So, like, I think the truth, the nobody knows what the complete truth is, and I have reason to believe, not because I have like special knowledge or access to anything, but just from my research, like Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 came out with this whole "To the Stars" thing, and he hired like a recently retired person. I forget his name from ATIP. He supposedly had ATIP. I did a lot of research.
We have a whole episode on this.
Yeah. I did a lot of research into this, and part of their organization, like To the Stars, some of the people that they have are claiming that they have like off-world like material that we didn't make on Earth. So I don't know like if the Pentagon is actually saying this, because I know that there's been a lot of like conflation and like confusing of stories between this Elizondo character who used to work for the government, and people are saying that the government is saying these things, but it's actually Elizondo after he's retired and he's saying it on behalf of To the Stars. It just gets really convoluted.
As this listed, it says a consultant for the Pentagon UFO program. So it's just a consultant.
It sounds like Elizondo.
is speaking out about the retrievals from off-world vehicles not made on this Earth.
I don't believe that, and I think that what I believe, I'll just completely open here. I think that there are weird aerial phenomenon. I don't. What are you looking at?
Eric W. Davis. He's an astrophysicist who worked on as a subcontractor and then a consultant for the Pentagon UFO program.
All right, I'll have to look into him. But what I know is that I believe that there are aerial phenomena that are strange, that are really weird, and that people report. Even people in high-level government positions can report, like Navy pilots and things like this, have strange experiences. That said, To the Stars, those videos that came out, Tom DeLonge and his organization made claims about these videos that, according to my research, are factually untrue. Like, I did a very deep dive analysis into the Go Fast video. It's one of the videos that they promoted, and they claim that UFO was very low over the ocean and that it was going very fast. Whereas my research indicates that it was neither low or fast. It was actually pretty high and it was going very slow. And I break down in the video exactly how I come to that conclusion. And I've had detractors and I've had people say, "Oh, I'm wrong. Like this is wrong." And I've asked them, like, just please point to something that I got wrong. And nobody does. They just don't like the fact that I'm calling it out. I know for a fact that that video is not what they claim it is. And so does that speak to the other UFO videos? I haven't done extensive research into the other ones, but I know that specific one, and that's a part of their story. It's like they're claiming that it's a thing. And I've heard Joe Rogan talk about that specific video to these other guys on his podcast, and it's like they're not taking into considerations the things that I have discovered. And I'm a no name. Like, I don't expect them to see my stuff, but so that's my stance on it. I don't know. I kind of got a little like tantrum.
Maybe one day we'll have to go do a revisit. If this report ever comes out, we'll do a revisit, because what they claim is that what they have could not be made on Earth. So apparently it was the Nazis on Mars made it, and so they just sent it down. Yeah, but Well, yeah, we'll have to do a revisit on that if any more information comes out and see if it changes anybody's ideas on anything. But I don't know if you've listened to ours. We did it with Joseph.
I didn't even realize you guys had something that wasn't on YouTube until just recently. I didn't realize
yeah.
like so like I gotta like start listening to your podcast.
Yeah, this is gonna be episode 17.
I think so.
This is number 17. Yeah. So, but we did one on the UFOs, and Joseph came on.
Yeah, that's cool. Which episodes do you decide? We're getting way off topic here, but which ones do you put on YouTube and which ones do you not?
We haven't put anything on YouTube for a while, but Christopher, actually, do you want to talk about what you thought about doing with the YouTube?
We thought if this ends up being something that's worthwhile, because that's the main thing, is if we have time, because we all go to work, we all go to school, like, so it's time consuming. So if it's worthwhile, it would be cool, in my opinion, to do like little snippets from the episodes, like little funny clips or whatever, take the audio and then do animations over them, you know, like little goofy dudes, you know? And that way it's like, oh, if I don't want to listen to the whole thing, I can just get little funny clips, you know?
Well, that's what Joe Rogan does, right? Like he films the whole podcast and then he has like a separate YouTube channel called JRE Clips that he just does what he thinks is the coolest
H3
parts
does
of it.
like highlights. We'll have to show you. Christopher did he animated one of our clips from one of our podcasts.
Yeah, that's the difference. Is so I'm not looking for clips that are necessarily like give you a feel of necessarily like what we're talking about. Just whatever is the funniest that could be used as an animation.
Yeah, and we've always talked about if we could ever get to a point where we actually have like a truly dedicated room to record, we could set up a camera and also record what we're doing. But
You
up
could
until
live stream it. There's a lot you could do with it.
yeah, for sure. So cut back to Kenny Veach. The trail ended. He's missing. There's been nothing else. I mean, I don't really know what else to say on him. Is there anything I missed that would be important to know? I can't think of anything. If not, then I'm willing to sit here and see what everyone's theories are. So let's start with, what is your actual, like, what do you truly believe happened to Kenny Veach, Tyler?
Me personally, I think since there's so many different like mine shafts in that area, I think he was going to explore a new one he found, and he just fell in.
And how do you explain his cell phone and wallet being found outside of a mine shaft? Do you think that's the same mine shaft, or you think, like, how do you explain that?
So it's not. I don't think it's going to be the same mine shaft. I think he just left it just because he was, you know, Mr. Survival Man, Mr. Mountain Man, being like, how can I take this a step further?
That's a potential, because that's something he knew he could find again. So, like, he's going to put it somewhere he knows he can go retrieve them. Also, maybe I could see, like, he knew what he was doing was dangerous, so maybe he could put his stuff, like, if something did happen to him, at least his phone and wallet would be found in a place that people would be able to find because it's an object in one of his videos.
Yeah, well, and also, and I think his girlfriend knows where that is.
Right.
Because it's not very far away from
Where he parks.
Yeah.
Okay. Christopher.
I'm torn between either believing that someone set it up and killed him, or he just went through some form of mania where he was like, he went out and he just kind of started getting weird about it, and he left his stuff there, and, you know, he wandered off. Because, like, if he was actually exposed to radioactive stuff or whatever, like, I have a feeling if he's already got a lot going on mentally, radioactivity's not going to help that.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's one of those two things. I lean more towards just like he might have had like a manic episode while he was out there or something, and he did something irrational.
Yeah. All right, Jake, what's the Moonlit Ghost's view on this?
I mean, I think it is all of the odd things about the story aside. Like, I think it is likely that he is dead. Like, he's just went out there, and I don't know if he committed suicide or if he went out and just got into some trouble and couldn't get himself out. I think that's, like, weighing all of the options, that's probably the most likely. But like Christopher, I'm torn as well. Like, I think he could still be alive. Like, I think it could have been like a plan to just like reset his life somewhere, because and I think maybe his girlfriend helped him do that. I don't know. I think between those two, I think those two are the most likely outcomes, but I think it's probably more likely that he is actually dead.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want that, but I agree. It seems the way she talked about it, if she's being truthful, is, and you know, he didn't take his camera with him. His wallet and phone were placed somewhere where people were going to find it. And he talked about like if he was ever going to kill himself, he would do it in a way that no one would ever find him. That seems most likely to me.
Well, that kind of goes into my theory on his manic episode too, is because if he's having a manic episode and he's like, well, if I think this is a government-based thing and I don't want them to be tracking me, I'm going to leave my stuff behind where I've been before, like Tyler was saying, so they can't track my cell phone, like he's going to leave it behind.
Yeah, I agreed.
I like to believe he got into the M cave, found a banshee, took that bad boy on a test drive, never came back.
So you're jumping to the next. So this is if it is something supernatural, what happened? That's your theory?
Oh, legit, if it was something supernatural?
Something supernatural, what's your theory?
I mean, if it's something bizarre like that, I don't think he found a banshee from Halo, but that would be cool. Take it for a little test drive. But I think if he found the cave again, and he went in, I'd like to believe that there was something they were hiding in there, and he got killed on sight because he was not getting out of that UFO
So
he
you
just
think,
found.
it was government or alien?
Yeah, I think he might have found like alien tech.
But like
say.
the government was going to put him down.
Yeah, they're like, okay, you do not have the license to operate this machinery, and he's like, just try and stop me. They tried to stop it.
I want to believe that Kenny Veach was too powerful for his own good, and so he's not necessarily dead, but the government like blackmailed him, like, listen, you know about this cave, you know how to find this stuff, so they've hired him to see if he can find other entrances to their bases, but they helped him disappear. Like, that was part of the contract. Like, but you got to disappear.
He's like, the one thing I need, loads of glow sticks. I can find anything.
I could go on about this, but it's like Dark Alex and Sony and the PSP fiasco and their firmware. But I'm not going to get into that. But I feel like it's a Dark Alex situation.
Yeah.
Well, it really is like with any unsolved case or unsolved mystery. Like there is a degree of like how far are you willing to like believe something really weird? Like there are things that I know about this world that are really weird, and like it's a very good possibility that he died out there somewhere. But then, what does that mean for the cave? Like, I don't think he just fabricated this cave. I believe that he really found a cave that looked like an M. Like, and I think if that's the case, then that video of Liberation or whatever his name is going out there, it does seem like there's something there that is very mysterious. And if there is something there, then that just opens up a whole new thing. Like, what is that? I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, Tyler, supernatural theory?
I mean, honestly, I think the tall white ones need an interior decorator, and he is the guy for that. Because, I mean, looking at his videos, it's like really Western, and I feel like the white ones need like a Western vibe since they're in those caves.
Well, and they're trying to blend in.
Yeah, they're trying to blend in. Like,
So how do you blend into the Southwest?
Cowboy hats.
Cowboy hats.
Cowboy boots.
And barrels in your house. And like
random
like a
barrels.
wagon wheel, like with like pots of flowers.
Leather chaps.
I think if we're going down this road, we need to talk about some of the things that this Sean guy is saying. Like, I mean, he seems pretty hell-bent on finding Kenny Veach.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, like, this is because, like, if you sit down, I don't know how much of his videos you've watched, but, like, he really does talk about some weird stuff.
yeah.
Like he genuinely thinks that there's like a predator like out there, like an invisible like
Not
predator
like alien versus
type
predator type
creature.
Deal. Okay.
We're not just talking about like
A mountain lion. We're talking
I was going more towards
you're talking
like
like a Jeffrey Epstein.
yeah.
Yeah, not that type of predator.
No. I mean, who knows? But I mean, like, he thinks that there's, like, he got taken out by a predator. Maybe he got taken into the cave and, like, these things, like, sealed up the cave and that what he found out there actually was the cave entrance. Because it is odd. I mean, it is odd that, like, Kenny pans over that exact spot and it looks like could be something there. And then Sean finds it and he pans over the same thing and he's, like, looking at it. And it looks like, the way he portrays it at least, it looks like it could have been like boulders placed in front of the cave. And you can kind of see like that
there's something behind it.
Something back there.
Here's my only thing with Liberation is he seems hell-bent on finding Kenny, but he's not willing to face federal land to do so. He said in the video, he's like, I'm not going to touch these rocks or try to move them because, like, there's some hefty fines. If someone finds out, like, you've messed with this stuff, you find. People in his comments said, hey, we'll start a Patreon and pay for any fees if you get caught. So, Liberation, do it.
I think I haven't seen it, but I think he does have a Patreon, and he's trying to gain funds for it.
Is it,
He
like,
does have one, yeah.
is there the funds to support him if he gets caught, or is it to, like, try to, like, actually get a reputable group together that could legally go move these rocks?
I have no idea. All I know is that he thinks Michelle Obama is a man, and like, and, like I was going down the rabbit hole this morning when I was coming on this show. I was watching some of his live streams, and he just goes off, dude. Like, all of these weird things. That's the problem though. Is like you start talking about with these conspiracy theories because like I think there's truth to a lot of different things, but it's like. They'll start off by talking about something that seems pretty right on, like the mainstream media is like lying to everybody, and like you can't, and it's just like all, and then like one superpower owns all, like the left and the right, Fox and CNN, and it's just a ploy to keep everybody in the dark, and then from there you go into like Barack Obama's family is like a hoax, and like Michelle Obama's a man, and her real name is like Michael Javon or something like that.
You know what though? Like he's not the one who believes that.
I know.
It's insane.
I know it gets wild. Like,
yeah, it's weird stuff. And like, there's another channel that we talked about a little bit like before we started recording called like Warlike Wrath, who is way into this, but he like believes that he is like onto it, and there's people actively trying to silence him because he's on to finding out what happened to Kenny, and they're like communicating with through like hexadecimal code and binary, but at the same time those codes just give a shout out to his channel. So I don't know, people yeah, I'm gonna go with he died in the desert.
Yeah.
Well, so my question is, has anybody posted the coordinates to get to this spot? Like if an average Joe was want to hop on their ATV and cruise over there.
Yeah, so there's coordinates that I've posted that were in the comments, and it's where the mine is at, where they found his cell phone and his wallet.
Well, I'm talking about the
MK
slabs,
Yeah,
the
you just-
Ten Commandment
And
slabs.
if you watch the video, it's a pretty straight shot because there's like a canyon they're walking towards, and so if you found that mine shaft and you just walk towards that canyon, I think you would stumble
What
upon
I'm
that.
wondering is, has anybody hopped on Google Earth to
it?
find this exact location so you can see it?
You'd be searching for a while.
That's why I'm wondering if someone's just posted the coordinates to that exact spot.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's coordinates to the exact spot where Sean says the cave is, but I think he posts a video where I don't think it's posted online like a link, but I think in one of his videos he has like a Google Earth map of like a hike trail, like lines going exactly to the cave. I don't know which video it is, but I'm pretty sure it's one of his videos, either leading up to the video where he hikes out there or one after it.
Then I think if we could find that picture and then take these coordinates, I don't think it'd be too difficult to track down on the map.
I don't think it'd be too difficult either. I mean, like even if you just watch watch his video, he does cut the video, but like it's a really long video, and he shows a lot of landmarks and different things like this. Just going off of Kenny Veach's video, Liberation's video, and like the shot of the Google Earth that he shows in one of his videos, we'd be able to find it.
Maybe we need to take a trip out to the Mojave Desert.
Sounds fun.
Well, I think ideally we will want to. Let's get what's Liberation? Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to hang out with him.
Well, no, I'm not. Okay, well,
needs to lay off the
before let me
amethyst.
finish. Before we go out, I'd like to have him call in on an episode, give us his real belief, give us what he thinks happened. No goofs, no
No,
gaffes.
let him just
Seriously,
go. Let him go for it.
Yeah, let him have
loose.
him.
Take the collar off.
Yeah, let him keep the collar on, because
Keep
if
the
you
collar
take it
on.
off, he might
Take the muzzle off.
take the muzzle off. You
Alright.
still got to shock him if he leaves his boundaries. But have him call in. If we can get him on, we can get his side, because he and what's the other guy, Mega Wrath. What's
Warlike Wrath.
Warlike Wrath might actually talk to you.
well, if we can get
if you
either
don't
of
like
them
what
to
you
come on, maybe we can pick their brains a little bit. Just give them like 15, 20 minutes. We'll give them 30. We'll give them 30 minutes to give us their rundown of what they genuinely think is
Alright.
going on.
After we stop recording, I'll send Warlike Wrath a message, and
I guess I'll.
we can send a same message to Liberation.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, we'll try it.
We'll see, and if we can get them on, we'll revisit. Jake, would you like? If we get them to come on, would you come back?
Yeah, I definitely would come back. And I mean, all of this is just about like money, right? Like if I had the money, like I'd be out there in a
Oh,
heartbeat.
100%.
Yeah.
No, so if we can get them on, we'll try to do a big Discord call.
Yeah.
We can do that together.
Yeah, we can. Well, yeah, we'll get them in a. We'll try to get them in a call. See if they're willing. We usually goof a lot. We'll try our best. Obviously, like we goof a lot, but we don't want to degrade anybody. Like so,
No,
we won't let them tell their story, no matter what we think.
Yeah, all right, we'll try it. We'll see what happens. We got some big episodes we're planning. They're gonna take a while, but just know we got some big things we've been working on.
Yeah, and we've planned out a little bit. That's unusual for us planning, so
But yeah,
it's impressive.
stay excited.
Dude, like I hear you. Like see like I have like a project in mind, and I'm like, oh, I could get this out in like a week or two, and like 3 months later, I'm still like racking my brain over like this freaking photo of it's either a ghost or it's like a dog. I can't tell. I don't know. It's like I'm like trying. You go down this craziness.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
like,
what are those taco shell commercials where they're like,
That's what Tyler just said. Yeah,
Why not both?
Yeah.
Frank and Weenie?
could be both. I don't know. It's just
So, yeah, why not?
But yeah, so we've got some stuff planned, but we really want to know what people like.
Yeah,
that
let
we're
us know.
doing.
Like we legitimately are here for you and what you find entertaining and want to listen to.
So like we mainly communicate through Instagram because YouTube was just too hard to function with just doing the audio and stuff. It just was too
So
hard.
send us a message.
So yeah, message us. Let us know what you think. We want to try to do a lot of like your stories and stuff. So like,
I honestly, that was probably one of my favorite episodes where we got to read the ghost. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting his name.
who?
The
two
ghost.
stories we had.
Oh, Brandon or what? Brandon.
Yeah, with the
something?
chaos podcaster,
Yeah, with the stone house in Cayuse River.
the House of
Cayuse
Stone and the
River.
Dark Door.
Yeah, yeah.
Those were honestly some of my favorite episodes, and that was listener stories that he shared with us. I mean, like we just want your experiences and how you remember them.
Yeah, we want people to feel like they're involved. But one thing you got to keep in mind, unlike with Big Sean and Mega Wrath, we will goof on your stories a little bit.
We're here for fun. We're not here to make fun
Yeah.
of you. We're just here to have a good time.
Yeah. So, but yes, keep us posted on what you like, and we'll try to accommodate.
Yeah, and I think you could always reach out to the Moonlit Ghost too, right? You're open people reaching out to you.
definitely, yeah. Moonlit Ghost, YouTube.
As long as you're ready for the Moonlit Ghost to tear your story apart and make you feel like I'm just kidding, but he will try to debunk you to the point that he can't or he does.
Or he will try to make you cry.
I feel like I was really sensitive to Maddie Ann's monster. Like she was this woman. I don't know if you watched the episode.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
But
I'll be nice.
he will. Well, okay. So I sent him a video. I don't know. It's like, this is my ghost experience, and he's like, "All right, idiot."
It's true. We sent him to our ghost where we saw a ghost. We sent him to our location, and he ripped us apart. He's like, "Yeah, this is a bunch of baloney."
I tried to get you guys to go back with me to clarify what you were talking about.
Go watch his video on Thistle. We sent him there.
I didn't have anything to go on except for my personal experience. Birds in the underbrush. then Aaron talks to me like a month afterwards.
And here's the thing: is we want to go and be able to do investigations and stuff, but it's just like Jake said earlier, like in Myrtle's Plantation and with this, like it's just hard without money to do something like that. So if it's something you guys are interested in seeing, we'll try to find time to go investigate spots with Jake.
Yeah. Just as of right now, we're a little geographically stuck.
Yeah, it's hard to justify spending travel money if I'm not getting any gain from it. If I'm not breaking even.
It's about the friends that you build along the way, the friendships.
I just can't miss that much school to be
Well,
duped.
just graduate.
You can't drop out of school to dedicate your life to a ghost podcast.
No.
All right, loser.
You're starting to sound like Jake.
Debunked. All right. Well, on that note, we're gonna lock up the crypt with Kenny Veach, Obviously, if anything happens that people find out more, we'll definitely bring it up. But as of right now, it seems like the trail's been cold for a while. So on that note, we're gonna lock the crypt. And Christopher,
I was thinking maybe we could get a goodnight kiss from Bob Lazar and his lasagna bar, and Big Sean and Mega Wrath and Jake.
Jake won't give you one, but you can.
I know, but it's worth asking. So Jake, do you mind hitting us with one of those goodnight smooches?
I very much mind, and I will never do that.
All of our guests were so willing.
Fine. Well, let's get one from Bob Lazar and his lasagna bar, if you would.
Okay, ew, that's disgusting.